You may hear a rumble of thunder as you're trying to sleep tonight. As you see right here on the radar, another round of storms moves through Kentuckiana. Hello everyone, I'm Alex Dieterer in for Doug Profit. Meteorologist Colleen Peterson joins us now. Colleen, could any of these storms potentially be severe?
There is a very low chance, Alex, so it's good. And the only risk for severe storms that we're seeing is really just the hail threat overnight tonight. So we can all sleep easy, just going to see some heavy rain. In fact, it's already looking good. We have not seen one single warning off to the west, and their ingredients are much better than us. So it's only going to continue to weaken as it heads over Louisville. So this is likely just going to be widespread rain overnight with a few rumbles of thunder. So that is great news. Looking at the radar right now, we're pretty dry, but that's going to pick up here by 2 o'clock in the morning. Looking at that severe weather risk, I mentioned they have a higher risk, level 2 over to the west, and we're not seeing any warnings, have not seen any warnings for a few hours. So good sign as that line continues to weaken over our area. So it did extend a little bit over farther southeast of Bardstown, but still it's a low risk, level 1 out of 5 of seeing those stronger winds and maybe some large size hail. Looking at that latest update for that forecast model, it shows the rain starting to creep its way in by midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. Going to start to see those heavy downpours, and then if we're going to see anything strong over Louisville, I think it's going to be from 3 to 5 o'clock in the morning with some heavy downpours and lightning if the timing holds true, and then it's going to be southeast of Louisville by the time we head towards 6 o'clock in the morning. So bus stop hours, some lingering showers possible, mostly dry for Indiana, and then some storms still possible at that time in Lebanon and Campbellsville. So good news is that we're not really seeing any strong storms overnight tonight. There is that off chance of seeing some hail. Those rain chances are going to diminish as we head towards the afternoon. However, there's that isolated risk of seeing a pop-up thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. I'll show you that forecast model coming up. Alex?
Thanks, Colleen. TARC leaders faced tough questions tonight from Metro Council members as they presented budget cuts they say are needed to stay afloat. Those cuts will mean fewer routes and fewer drivers. WHAS11 night teams Taylor Woods and photojournalist Addie Hill talked to TARC's union president and bus riders about the changes.
Alex, well, Metro Council members were not too pleased with the budget that TARC presented. Some say the math just isn't mathing, and the financial challenges the transit system is facing need to be recalculated before any funding is approved.
TARC riders like Adana Choate are bracing themselves for TARC to have less routes available in January 2025.
It bothers me because it takes away from the parents that have to get to work to provide for their children.
This decision comes after the transit system has been facing what they call a fiscal cliff. Service reductions mean some TARC drivers will lose their job.
For them to actually be losing their income is, that's going to impact them terribly.
TARC administration presented the budget they've been surviving on for years in front of Metro Council, sharing how they project $140 million of COVID funds to be exhausted by June 2025.
I can tell you this, and this is my 11th agency. I've been here almost 34 years, and this is the toughest budget I've ever had to bring over here.
TARC Interim Executive Director Ozzie Gibson says their operating budget expenses will be close to $110 million by 2025. Without the cuts, TARC leaders say there could be a budget gap as much as $30 million by mid-2026.
And yet you're saying we can't make up 15% cost reduction on a 20% reduction in labor. It's just not mathing for me.
Some council members question the numbers and urge TARC leaders to look for other solutions.
I would advise that you all go back to the drawing board.
When asked if layoffs were absolutely going to happen, Gibson said yes.
Probably is going to be somewhere, but could be 60 as high as 80.
TARC Union President Lillian Brent says at the end of the day, several families are going to be impacted.
It's going to be a layoff. It's still funding issues, even if they go back to the drawing board.
Brent says it's devastating to know that some of the jobs she and her colleagues look forward to every day will be cut soon.
And the service reductions are called Saturday Plus. This means there will be less frequent service Monday through Friday, but routes that will not be affected are 4th Street, Dixie Rapid, Broadway, and Preston Highway. In studio, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 night team on your side.
Thank you, Taylor. A youth corrections officer was sent to the hospital along with 2 juveniles after a crash downtown this afternoon. It happened at 6th and Liberty near Metro Corrections just after 4 this afternoon. An LMPD spokesperson says a Jefferson County Youth Center officer was transporting 2 juveniles to the Adair County Detention Center when the crash happened. Investigators believe the driver of a blue crossover ran the red light and hit the officer's SUV. The officer was taken to the hospital where she is expected to survive. The 2 juveniles were taken to the hospital for complaints of knee pain. The other driver was not hurt, and right now, no charges are expected. Tonight at 11, a prayer vigil for beloved 5-year-old Cairo Jordan. 2 years ago today, his body was found in a suitcase left in the woods of Washington County, Indiana. Now, that community is once again honoring the little boy who they call their own son. Senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton report from Salem.
Yes, Jesus loves me.
At Crown Hill Cemetery Tuesday,
The Bible tells me so.
Stood a small but mighty crowd, united in their love for Cairo Amar Jordan.
It's a young boy's life, and it does matter.
Eternal God, we thank you today for your love and mercy.
The Washington County community forever connected to the little boy from Atlanta through tragic circumstance 2 years ago.
In a rural part of our county in a suitcase.
They've since adopted Cairo as one of their own.
He was buried here at Crown Hill in June of 22. Till then, he was only known as an unknown angel. But thank God, his identity was found.
And this group tells me if Cairo is an angel,
I recognized you when you came in. Wow, I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
Then Jeff Meredith, the mushroom hunter who found him, is a saint.
He's become our son.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. God bless you.
Without him, Cairo would have never been found.
So much has changed in 2 years. This community not only has a name for Cairo Jordan and a face, but now they have a clear path toward justice.
God, we came here last year and we prayed that the involved people would be found and arrested, and God, that has happened.
Cairo's own mother, Dejon Anderson, arrested in March after many months on the run.
This was big news for our community, so.
Anderson charged with Cairo's murder.
Today, God, we're going to be praying for mercy, but justice.
That legal process could take a while, but in the meantime,
I once was lost.
Tragedy brought him to a safe place, and he's resting at peace here now.
Cairo's new family is wrapping their arms around him once again. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
Let us pray together.
Cairo's mother, Dejon Anderson, is charged with murder, neglect of a dependent, and obstruction of justice following her arrest in California. The judge in the case recently ordered her to undergo a psychological evaluation to determine if she's competent to stand trial. Anderson told a judge last week she wants to represent herself in the case. She's expected back in court on April 25th. New tonight on the Night Team, holding signs and chanting. Tonight, JCPS custodians rallied outside to keep the current pay they're at risk of losing.
$3.50. When do we want it? Now.
The workers have been earning a $3.50 hourly premium since the pandemic. However, that federal money is set to expire on June 30th. Union members say many workers can't afford to lose the money.
Become a part of our everyday living now. We've been able to afford reliable transportation to and from work. It's been allowed us to pay our bills and provide groceries for our families.
The rally came before tonight's school board meeting. The union is asking the board to make that $3.50 a permanent part of the budget moving forward. In a statement, a JCPS spokesperson said, quote, "We value our dedicated staff members who work hard every day to keep our school buildings clean. We will soon begin pay negotiations and will share information with employees at the end of this process." Nearly 24 organizations are set to receive hundreds of thousands of dollars to address opioid prevention, treatment, and recovery. Today, Mayor Craig Greenberg announced 21 recipients recommended to receive funding from an opioid settlement totaling $5.3 million. The organizations include Choose Well Communities, which helps people in recovery with families and young children. Lindsay Wood is a graduate from the program and now serves as their senior family recovery specialist.
What Choose Well is it's a hand up, right? Like they're not looking for hands out. You know, people, when you start from the bottom, you lose everything, you know, and so it can be so hard and overwhelming when you feel like you're starting with nothing. You feel like the world is against you.
Metro Council still has to approve the funding. Surprising progress in a Manhattan courtroom today as 7 jurors were sworn in for former President Donald Trump's hush money trial. Those 7 jurors include 3 women and 4 men. Throughout the day, lawyers on both sides questioned the jury pool, looking to root out potential bias. At one point, they even scrutinized social media accounts. Trump is charged with falsifying business records to cover up a hush money payment to an adult film actress to conceal their alleged affair before the 2016 election. Once it begins, the trial is expected to last several weeks.